I have customers ask me this question all the time. Why do live edge slabs cost so much money? It's the same type of wood, right? Nope. Well, I'm gonna show you why it's not the same, and I'm also gonna let you in on a little secret. It has something to do with this, but mainly because of this. I'm gonna take you on a journey and show you every step of the process so you can understand why live edge slabs are so expensive. Starting with this. As you can see here at K&J, we get a lot of logs in the yard here, but 99% of the logs that we get are gonna be too small for the live edge slabs that you and I adore. In order to get those wide live edge slabs, we need bigger logs, and bigger logs cost more money. And it's pretty safe to say that these giant logs that we're talking about are few and far between. They take time to grow. Chances are most of those bigger trees that make the big logs have already been cut down. So when we do find a source that can provide a larger log, we pay a premium for that. And to visually sum it up for you, this is the type of trees that we need, and this is the type of trees that most forests have. And that's just the first problem. It gets even more challenging once those logs head over to the sawmill. Now here at the sawmill, you can see we cut all sizes of lumber, but mostly straight cut. These smaller pieces are way easier to handle than a live edge slab. That sawmill has a 36-inch maximum diameter. We can't cut anything bigger than that. Let's head over to the other side of the yard where we have some pre-cut live edge slabs to show you. One of the reasons why live edge slabs cost so much is because they're heavy, they're harder to deal with at every step of the process, not just here at the beginning. Stacking these slabs while they're wet is difficult, and as you'll find out later on, it doesn't get any easier when they're dry. Depending on the species, these live edge slabs will sit for weeks before they go to the kiln. And let me tell you folks, this is where things start to get expensive. As you can imagine, it costs us a lot of money to transport these slabs to the kiln. We got expenses like gas money, gotta hire a guy to drive it there, there's insurance, repairs, and a bunch of other stuff I'm probably not even thinking of right now. Here we are at the infamous door of H&H Lumber's kiln. Let's go and check out one of the reasons why these slabs would cost more money.
This is our kiln. We can fit about 15,000 board feet in here. It's all wood fired off the stove. We burn all of our excess scraps in here. So anything that comes off of our lumber goes right back into the kiln to dry more lumber. Yeah, we can pack about 15,000 board feet of 4/4 dimensional lumber in here. So one of the things to think about when we do slabs is we lose a significant portion of that volume just because they don't pack together nearly as tight as 4/4 dimensional lumber is. So drying live edge slabs takes significantly more time and energy than driving 4/4 material.
Yep.
You not only have the width to cover, but the depth. And it takes time for that heat to penetrate and draw out the water. So moisture content target's gonna vary based on your geographic location. We're here in Minnesota. Usually it'll come out at 5-6% on our hardwoods, and then it'll naturally acclimate up to that 7-8. If anything gets up over 9%, we throw it back in the kiln and we'd run it back down
Run
again.
it again, okay. What about duration?
Yeah, on hardwood slabs, we generally dry our 1-inch material for roughly 6 to 8 weeks. Double that for a 2-inch slab, triple that for a 3-inch slab. So when we're drying 3-inch slabs, it could realistically be 6 to 9 months before we get that moisture content where we want, all the way through the slab.
Okay. But the kiln, that's only half of what happens here. Because even after spending all that money drying them, not all of them turn out the way we want. See, we got a slab here that is cracked all the way through. Essentially, that would totally ruin a slab like that, right?
Yeah, I have a heck of a time trying to sell a slab like this with
Yep.
stair parts or a mantle. This one is probably salvageable if you find the right customer at the right price, but you're gonna take a discount on it. And this is something that's real hard to control when
Yep.
you've got large slabs.
Yeah. Can you explain a little bit of the kiln pricing structure?
Yeah, the base price starts by how much space you take up in the kiln.
Yep.
So 4/4 material is gonna pack in real nice and tight,
Yep.
whereas live edge slabs are not gonna be quite as tight. The other thing to consider is the thickness.
Yep.
4/4 material, let's call it one cycle of 3 to 4 months.
Yep.
6/4, triple the time,
Yep.
triple the price.
And that's not the end of it, because what they have to do next can sometimes require expensive machines that can add to the overall cost. You got a router here, and you got a sled. My question to you is, why can't we just run the slabs through the planer?
The planer knife is always parallel to the planer bed. And so as a long slab with a warp in it comes through, that slab is gonna twist and it's gonna keep that warp. You'll have nice parallel faces, but
Yeah.
those parallel faces will twist. So we've got a small slab here, should be fairly straightforward. The first thing I do is I lay it down flat, and as you can see, it rocks back and forth. This instability is gonna cause it to move while we're cutting. So I've got some high quality shims I pulled out of the waste bin.
High quality, he says.
I put the shims in opposite corners to try and get it as close to level as I can, side to side. If you shim one side more than the other, you're just gonna be taking off more material from one side compared to the other.
Okay.
So you might start off with a 3-inch thick slab, but if it's got a lot of movement in it, you might end with a 2.5, 2¼ inch slab before you're finished. So now that I've got it level, it's not rocking anymore, it's fairly stable. Now I get my sled and my router set. I gotta set the Z height of the router so that it's just touching off on the tallest portions of the slab. Here we are. So this side is now perfectly flat and parallel to the rails that we're running. Now that we've got one side true, we could put this thing through the planer and we could trust that the bottom side is gonna get planed nice and smooth, perpendicular to a flat plane that we've established with our rudder sled.
Yep. I would assume that this is like a premium service.
Absolutely. This comes at a premium because of the time it takes. So you're gonna get shop rate, depending on where you are, it could be 75 to 125, 150 plus dollars an hour.
So after months of waiting, thousands of dollars in processing, and hoping that nothing cracks, we finally get to bring the slabs home. And once these slabs make it back, sure enough, it's more shipping costs added to the overall cost. When these slabs make it back home, they go into our kiln-dried warehouse to be stored with the rest of our lumber. We got some live edge slabs up there, and they're unevenly stacked. That's why you see us lining up slabs leaned up against the wall instead of stacked underneath the rest of the lumber like that. So next time you see a live edge slab with what seems like a crazy price tag, you'll know you're not just buying wood. You're buying months of time, 2 rounds of shipping, expert kiln drying, and specialized milling equipment. These live edge slabs can get quite spendy. But there's a type of wood that isn't as expensive as you would think. In our most popular video, The Best Wood for Outdoor Projects, everyone lost their minds when I told them what I thought was the best wood for their projects. And they were confused thinking it was more expensive than what I was telling them. So I tell you what type of wood I was talking about and why I believe you are all wrong about the cost of that wood in this video right here. I'll see you there, brother and sister. Oh, that looks so cool. I just barely got it. What do you think of K&J lumber?
I like it.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
I should have said, be careful with your answer because that might just depend on how much money you get for your logs.
That's why I like it.
That's why he likes it.